Okay, so this video is just going to be a quick, like, walkthrough of the Halloween room, this time with my commentary over it, just to kind of, like, give you guys a bunch of, like, small little, like, details and just my thoughts on the whole thing. Just, you know, because it's tradition. I've done this for all the other Halloween rooms so far, except for the first, but whatever, that's the first one, so it doesn't count. Anyways, first up we got the puppet. I was actually debating on whether or not to use that face or, like, a different, or the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 puppet. This whole entire room is basically just meant to be the Five Nights at Freddy's 1 location, kind of, but it's not really set on any, like, specific thing. All the other animatronics around here are kind of like, they have their pre-withered designs, so you could say it's that pizzeria, so I guess the puppet maybe could probably fit in, but who knows. I didn't really think too hard about the set too much as I did, like, I knew what I wanted to put in here, I knew what I thought would look cool, and that's just kind of what I went for, and I made sure it all kind of fit in the same theme, so whatever. So if we continue to go around, we got like a pizzeria wall decoration and a bunch of drawings that I have talked about way too much in the past Halloween rooms. And then if we go over here, we got these two, we got Spring Bonnie posters, along with a newspaper clipping. That is actually a clipping of the newspaper at the end of the, I believe, night 6 of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So it's when it says that Freddy Fazbear's is closing. You can kind of see Toy Chica, but other than that, you don't really know which location it's talking about in the newspaper specifically, so you can kind of use your imagination to pretend that it's whatever location we're in now. There's also a fake security camera up there. I could turn it on to have it move around, however, I wanted this to be in a abandoned building, so I figured that it wouldn't actually make sense for the camera to be on. And the phone's ringing. That's just part of the ambient track, so occasionally just random sounds will play. I believe this is the night 5 phone call. Yes, it is. So it's just going to do some garbled over by an actual, like, vintage telephone. And if we go over here, we got, if we just take a step back a bit, we got Foxy with a bunch of glowing wire coming out of him. This was kind of like a last-minute decision, so for those of you guys who were following what happened with the 2019 Halloween room, I wanted to do an ocean theme that wasn't Five Nights at Freddy's based at all, and I had started buying props and stuff for that, but I wasn't able to finish it in time, so the glow wire was actually something that I bought for the 2019 Halloween room, and I figured I could use it to some degree in here, so I figured, wouldn't it be neat if I kind of like wrapped it all around his endoskeleton, which is what I ended up doing. So it created a pretty cool effect. Sorry, footsteps just happened. And I honestly really like how it turned out. Just how you could see it just going around his endoskeleton. I'll probably do that with other Halloween rooms in the future, especially FNaF ones, just because that seems like a pretty fun thing to do, having like something glowing on the inside of the characters that's not like too bright that you can like kind of see through the fabric and start to see like their frame and stuff, because that's why I don't put lights and stuff inside these guys a whole lot. You can actually start to see like where their frame is through the fabric, and it kind of ruins some of the illusion that they're the actual animatronics and stuff. And then we got one of many cluttered little like spaces. The whole idea of this entire place is that it's a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza that closed, and they didn't even bother to pack up everything. They just kind of got halfway through packing up and then just sort of left it as is. And then we got a bunch more drawings and posters on the wall, along with this electrical box, which, just like with every single other Halloween room, you could turn it on to blow out your eardrums. I'm not sure why you would want to, but whatever. And then if we look up here, we got the paper plate pals. I'm pretty sure at least one of them has been in every single FNaF Halloween room. I know at least our little buddy on the side has been in all of them. And then if we go over here, we see my actual desk, which normally is this cluttered, but I added some more clutter on top of it to kind of make it fit with the theme. So first we got a newspaper here. It's the Help Wanted ad at the start of Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And then if we move back here, we can see a bunch of cobweb-covered plushies. You may have noticed the electrical box also had cobwebs and stuff on it. And looking up here, We already talked about them, I don't know what I'm getting at. Though there is something I forgot to mention. I have a replacement head for him that was used in Give Gifts, Give Life episode 5, the remake. So some of you guys may recognize that. There is this Celebrate poster, which is an official Five Nights at Freddy's piece of merchandise. And it even has the logo Five Nights at Freddy's on the bottom, but I didn't want to actually show that because that kind of breaks immersion. So what I did was I just took a bunch of crumpled up paper and stuffed it at the bottom, because from a distance it kind of looks like it's been torn off at the bottom. And even if you're closer, you could just kind of infer that something was like stuffed in there at some point. And then if we look over here, we just got cobwebs covering this little, I guess, keys. And those keys actually don't really go to anything, but they're in my room all year round. That's not a Halloween room only thing. Then we got that neat little Halloween pizzeria wall decoration that I use for a bunch of stuff. And then we got wires coming down from the vents, which actually was a pain in the butt to do, because I had to take the vent cap down and like just completely unscrew it. And when I tried to screw it back in, I had to hold it up with my left hand while the right hand was screwing everything in. And then the weight of the vent plus the weight of the wires was kind of getting to me after a while. And, you know, my left arm went numb. So yeah, that was pretty neat. And then over here we got I was gonna say stuffed Nightguard, but that's not entirely what I was going for. I wanted it to be implied that like the last person who went urban exploring in this abandoned location kind of met with this fate. You'll notice we got a phone call. It's just the FNaF 2 Night 6 phone call. So I did pitch it down a little bit just to make it a little bit more spooky. But you may notice that he's the only full-sized animatronic here who has cobwebs on him. And sorry, that static kind of like ruined my train of thought. That was done on purpose, actually, because I wanted it to seem like he's been sitting here for a while, but implied that like while the other animatronics are still right now, they have been moving pretty frequently throughout the years. So you'll notice he's carrying a nice little present. The stuff that's actually inside the present isn't meant to really be like mean anything. There's just a spare mask for the puppet in there that was extra creepy, and I figured it'd be kind of creepy to just as like a nice little Easter egg for him holding it. So yeah, you got cobwebs just kind of going all over this guy, just kind of making him look like he's been sitting here for at least a couple years, maybe more. And then we have Chica right here, who was... All of the animatronics that are standing were a huge pain in the butt to get up, but I think it was worth it having like all the animatronics just kind of standing like at their own like spot on the room. You'll notice that whenever we come across an animatronic, if they have little pieces of artwork and stuff, like children's drawings and stuff that kind of like, or posters that fit with them, I usually put it up next to them, that way it kind of like fits with the theme. And then if we go over here, we'll notice that we got like the spare parts from shelves that are also cluttered. I really like how the Golden Freddy plushie looks underneath the black light. Things are actually way darker for me than it actually shows up on camera because of the settings, so you can actually see everything in the Halloween room, but for the most part, Golden Freddy is mostly in the dark, and all you can see is his eyes reflecting back the light from the black light. But anyways, going back here, we got a bunch of employee hats over there, along with just random parts and whatnot. We have Golden Freddy, who is covered in cobwebs, or Fredbear, I guess, since he's got the purple hat. And then if we look over here, we got portions of the Spring Bonnie suit. And you may notice that this one does not have any cobwebs on it because I wanted, you know, something to imply that William had been through here and he had actually been messing with the parts and stuff, just like what happens in the Silver Eyes. We got an unfinished costume head, which is actually the Nightmare Freddy head that I just haven't completed. I think the ambient track just finished. And then we have a strobe light that I bought just to kind of help illuminate Chica, since she is at one of the darkest areas of the Halloween room. So it makes it, you know, better for this, like, so you can actually see all the animatronics. I could turn it off, and she's not the hardest to see, but she doesn't like, her colors and stuff don't react all that brightly with the black light. Same with Freddy, but his is kind of like, he's supposed to be looking lifeless, which is why he doesn't really have a whole lot of light shining on him. So it makes sense. And then we have some, there's this thing, it's like a little tape player. You put a tape inside of it, and then you can play it on the menu. There are actually tapes, if we go back here, there are little tapes, you can barely even see it underneath that American flag, just sort of stacked haphazardly. And then behind it is my first endoskeleton head that I built years and years and years ago. So it doesn't look that great. It too is also covered in cobwebs. And then we've got the cupcake, which has been cobwebbed up as well, along with a bunch of other just miscellaneous pieces, like the bottom jaw to my old Chica mask, Freddy's eyes, and Lefty's snout. That's an interesting story. So when I was taking all the like costume parts that were originally on here that wouldn't belong in the Halloween room, when I moved Lefty, his snout just fell off. So I decided to take the snout and use it as like a portion of a spare part thing. You can also see that Golden Freddy over here is covered in cobwebs, along with this party hat. You can't really see it, but there's a little glass jar that's just labeled as Remnant, because I thought that would be a kind of, well, one, that's a prop for Give Gifts, Give Life episode 9, and two, I figured putting it as part of the Halloween room would kind of make sense, so I just kind of put it. Lefty's hat is also here, just because I figured it'd be kind of neat to have a hat. Speaking of hats, there's also just an actual top hat right there. Make of that what you will. And then there's a bunch of boxes of parts and stuff, like just random boxes just kind of strewn and stacked over here. We got Mangle's hand, which is kind of broken down over the years, along with some like wire mesh and stuff that also has cobwebs draping across them. And then we got a little crate that is actually #1 crate. It just turned around so you can't see his eyes. And all of his, I took his arms off and just kind of put them next to him. And there's a spare arm for the puppet just sort of hanging out. And it's filled with a bunch of deflated balloons to make it look like they've been leaking air for a while. And here we got Bonnie, who was the biggest hassle to set up because he fell over twice in the span that I've had him up. His arms are actually breaking after the Halloween room is done. I need to fix them. You could kind of see they're just kind of limply hanging in its socket for this one, and on this one, his shoulder pad is just straight up like not connected on one side, and you can't see it, but around him, his arm fully is just starting to fall off. This arm is actually meant to detach, while this arm is definitely not. So that's a bit of an issue. You could also see what I was talking about earlier, where I put drawings and stuff of Bonnie right next to Bonnie. There's this weird freaky fabric that I bought from Walmart for like $2, I can't remember. I don't know why I put it in here. It doesn't really make sense, but whatever. We got some posters of Freddy and Bonnie, along with a smaller version of the Celebrate poster back there, and a pizzeria wall decoration. If we kind of go over my bed a little bit, you can see that there is a chalkboard with the words "Run" cryptically written on there. Another one of those power boxes, which doesn't really make as much sense, but I had two, so I figured I might as well put one in. And then if we go back a little bit, that is it for the Halloween room. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. It was a lot of fun putting up these Halloween rooms. I kind of wish I did a little bit more this year, but at the same time, I think it is pretty good. We got, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 full-size animatronics set up, along with some other heads and stuff back there. So I figured it looks pretty good. I'm thinking next year maybe a Five Nights at Freddy's 4 theme if everything goes completely well, considering that I've already started to make Nightmare Freddy, and then I have plans on making the rest of the nightmares. There's a good chance I will be able to finish them, but who knows how things will go. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next year's Halloween room. There will also be a lights on walkthrough going up probably shortly after this one. So if you enjoyed this video and want to see how this thing looks when all the lights are turned on, stay tuned for that. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.